everybody, and welcome to our HOLA Diversity Initiative. This month, we are women. In honor and celebration of Women Hair Story Month, we have the co-founders of the Frente Productions, Camilla Zitelli and Uman. How are you? Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us. We're good. We're so excited to talk to you.
We are very, very excited too. And before we talk more about the Frente Productions, your Academy projects, your mission, and all these amazing things, let's get to know you a little better. So I'm gonna share with our audience some of your biographies and your journeys, of what you've been doing until 2021 New York City Women's Hair Story Month. So let's start with Camilla Zitelli, writer, performer, producer, director. Camilla Zitelli is a performer, director, and writer from Buenos Aires, Argentina. She has a BFA in theater from the New School and a degree in musical theater from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. She has performed in several theatrical productions, both in Argentina and the USA, including Rent, In the Heights, El Club del Hit, De Gira en la Farruca, Foreign Exchange Concert, Cocoa Adiós, among others. She was the assistant director for Rapiña and choreographed the musical Therapy, Here I Go, as well as being a production assistant for the musical Pegados. Camila co-founded and co-directed an all-female performance group called FAM that performed on the Lower East Side Festival in 2016 and 2017. Camila's play La Caja de Pandora was selected for a festival in Buenos Aires called Ciclo de Obras Cortas, Centro Cultural Freire in 2018. She is currently working on her one-act play and will be directing a musical for the New York Summer Festival. And since today we have double the guests, double the fun, now we're gonna get to know much better Uman. So is a writer, director, producer. Uman is a New York-based writer, director, and producer. Raised in Argentina, she was a vocal teacher and director in Buenos Aires. After graduating from a conservatory program from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, she received her BFA at the New York School, focusing mainly on playwriting and filmmaking. Has worked in several theaters in the city, both on and off stage. She's the co-founder of the Frente Productions, a women-focused production company. She was a production assistant for Fourth Row Films and was a research assistant for their upcoming Leonard Bernstein documentary, working closely with the director-producer. She's written and directing 2 short films and a one-act play in New York City, and is in pre-production of an upcoming project. Okay, welcome, Ivy. So I love being in the company of such accomplished, wonderful women artists who have a lot to share with us. So I mean, from the bios, it's very clear both of you have very accomplished career and you are both very well-rounded artists. You do it all. But for this particular interview on women and diversity, the HOLA Diversity Initiative, we're gonna focus on your company, the Frente Productions. So tell us all about how it started, what inspired it, the real meaning of the name, because I know it has a special meaning. So the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Well, it started kind of slowly. Cami and I had a very similar path, but we were always a few years apart. So we went to the same conservatory at AMDA. We kind of knew each other, but we didn't really get to work together. Then we both got our BFA from the new school, but we didn't really cross paths there either. It wasn't until we did a production, right? We did an off-Broadway production, and Cami was choreographing, and I was actually still a performer, and I was performing. And I think something about then we connected about how like our work ethics were very similar. And we started having conversations a little more deeply about why we like to tell stories and about why we kind of wanted to be a part of this industry and this community. And we started kind of connecting in that way a little bit.
Yeah. Also, we started talking about women playwrights, and what we noticed was that in our classes, we saw a lot of women who wanted to be writers, both playwrights and screenwriters. But then out on Broadway or in Hollywood, we don't see that many women. So we started asking ourselves, what happens in the middle? Why do women stop why aren't women being produced, but also why do they stop? Why do they give up?
Right, like what happens in between all these classes, in which maybe 80 or 85% are women or are trans folk or non-binary people or whatever it is, and then all we're seeing in mass media seems to only be the same point of view over and over. So we started kind of just from that side, kind of having conversations of what is this break in between and what is happening? Are women not getting encouraged? Are women not getting readings done? Are they not, like, what is happening? So it kind of started from that side, and eventually, instead of just sitting there and keep complaining a little bit about how the world works, we just decided to do something about it. So we just came up with De Frente, and we've been doing it for about 1.5 years now, maybe a little bit more.
We're also both writers, so we would get together a lot. We had gotten together for like a year before De Frente started, just reading each other's work and working together. And we just really liked the way we worked with each other and admired each other's work also. So it was very exciting to start this.
Absolutely. And I think our why we do this being the same kind of made it very easy, because I feel like sometimes when you have to form a partnership or a production company or whatever it is, many people have different whys as to why they're doing what they're doing, which is perfectly valid. But Cami and I were lucky enough to kind of share that why. We definitely knew that storytelling is a way of making the world better. And we definitely knew that we wanted to create opportunities for other people. So those were kind of like our only two things that we definitely knew we wanted to do. And it slowly became DFP.
Excellent. So congratulations, first of all, on taking action. Because just taking one step at a time, we can change the world one day at a time. So complaining doesn't work. It just puts us down. Action works. So congratulations on taking action.
Absolutely.
And then you, of course, touch on something very important, the power of collaboration and how we must support each other and encourage each other and be each other's cheerleaders, right? And say, yes, yes, yes. And, give meaningful feedback, encouraging feedback that can expand our creativity and our love for writing and for creating. So now, tell us a little bit about what De Frente means and how do you define your group? Because I love your honesty and your authenticity that, of course, I recommend everybody to go to the website, thefrenteproductions.com. But tell us from the heart, please.
Well, we're a feminist, intersectional, anti-racist production company. And our goal is to give a platform to those communities that are underrepresented in the film and theater industries.
In particular for upcoming both writers and actors, for people that are maybe now starting to put their first stuff out there, and we think we find that that's maybe where part of this disconnect is coming from. There's not really a connection between writing school and the real world for a lot of these communities, because the real world is so often a closed door. So that's what we've been mostly focusing on. And I feel like because of the name, well, we're both Argentinian. That's something we didn't mention before. We both moved to the city. Cami, how long ago?
7 years ago?
It was 6 years for me. So it's been kind of the same a long-ish time, but we definitely wanted, we knew we wanted to include something about our Argentinianism in our production company and in our name. And when we were trying to just define the kind of art that moves us and the kind of art that we're interested in showcasing, all the words that started coming out were things like blunt or like unapologetic or authentic. And that at some point sort of developed into the Frente, which is a Hispanic, but it's also very Argentinian, of just going head on against something.
Yeah.
Of just
being straightforward too.
Yes.
Well, I'm getting the good spoons because, and I'm sure the millions of people and women who are watching us, they're gonna feel the same, connecting to the authenticity and to the being blunt and unapologetic. Enough! We've been apologizing for millions of years. Enough! We don't own excuses to anybody. We can be amazing us every moment of the day.
Absolutely.
So thank you. I feel strongly about this, as you can see.
So do we. So it's great. It's great. Absolutely.
All right. So now within the company, you do many different projects within the mission. So please tell us about your garden parties. Because when I read about it, oh my God, that sounds so exciting. Please, would you share? Thank you.
So this actually came from a class that I did at the new school that was feminist playwrights. And which is basically women playwrights. And one of on the history of feminist theater, there's a woman who would host these parties in Paris. And they say that like these parties that women would host back in the late 1800s were the first stages for women, because they would host people, they would have people over, and they would do shows for them.
We thought it was very cool how a place that can be so limiting for women, and that at some point was like the only place that they had a certain autonomy over, women very quickly found a way to use it to tell stories and to tell stories to other women. It wasn't really a place where like, it was just like, they got all their friends together, and instead of just chatting about random rumors, they would have put up a show. And we thought that was very interesting. And we kind of turned this into these events. We had 4 of those before the world closed. But we turned them into this night of female playwrights or female identified playwrights, 4 different ones in one night. And they all brought about, 15 minutes of something that they were working on, and they were put up by professional actors. And we had the audience, we had a system for the audience to kind of give feedback to the writers. And it was really cool. We were hosting them at this very, very beautiful space called Torn Page, which is a townhouse in Chelsea. It was really nice. We were doing them once a month, and we had 4 different writers each time. And it was just a great way to build community and for these writers to meet each other and meet new actors. It was a great experience, and we're hoping we'll come back with them.
Oh, definitely, of course.
Yeah. The world kind of goes a little bit more back to normal, and we can make sure everyone's safe.
Yeah, and the goal was also for writers to be able to keep working on what they were working on. So to try to be able to hear their work out loud in front of an audience, see the audience response, but then also the audience had the chance to answer some specific questions that the writers had left for them, which was great. And that hopefully encouraged them to keep on writing, keep on creating. That's our main goal for all these communities to keep creating, because we need those voices.
Well, thank you. Thank you for, I think encouragement, it's part of your mission. It's there, very clear how you are, and you're making an effort to really put people to do the work, because I think it's a lot easier when you have a deadline and say, okay, they're performing my play, so I better have it ready. But when you are thinking about the play and considering the characters, right? So
And also getting to work with actors, I think. Getting to see what actors read from your text and getting to see what they bring into it. I feel like whenever I, as a writer, put on a reading, a lot is informed by the audience reaction, but so much is also just informed by what I see the actors do. And it's like, oh, I guess there's not exactly what I was writing, or this is exactly where I should actually take this.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, I know this is a very obvious question, but I want the audience to know how important it is, right? To perform plays and works written by women, directed by women, and performed by women. What's so special when we create this all-female ensemble company? Why it's important to make that statement?
Well, first of all, because it's a point of view of society that we all need to hear. But also there's this stereotype that women write a certain type of story or play, sometimes more romantic or
melodramatic
or super, I don't know, descriptive or whatever. And it's not true. Women tell
action,
all kinds of stories. They can write about action. They can write about war,
about violence.
They can write about, they don't all only have to write about like the issues that they're struggling with as women. They can write about anything they want. And
I also feel like you kind of can't be what you can't see. Mm-hmm. And unless we have everyone's point of view being shown, there's so many people that are not seeing themselves, who are not seeing what they could be, who are not seeing themselves as a multifaceted person. I feel like because we only see certain points of view on most topics, it's hard to imagine more, and there's so much more.
Yeah, and it's an exercise for women too. I think at one point when I was starting to write, I found myself writing female characters that were not very multidimensional or were a little stereotypical without me noticing, because that's what I had seen my whole life. I had seen women in movies written by men, you know? And
how dare they, right? How dare they? Tell us how we...
And it's important, and men should still be allowed to tell stories, but at the same time, if all that's making into the mass is one point of view, we're missing out on so much. We're missing on so much we could learn, so much we could grow together. Men should still tell stories.
Of course, I'm kidding. Of course.
Time, unless we can get more points of view in that mass imagination, or like our community brain and storytelling, it's very limiting for a lot of us.
Yeah. Or just question, is this really the type of woman that I see every day in my life? Is this really how women are? To be able to ask yourself that even when you're watching things is really important.
Well, definitely. And of course, we keep a sense of humor here. We love everybody, but because, men support us too. Of course, it's obvious, but it's very, very important that all points of view are told everywhere, in the theater, in films, and we really need to make an effort because there are millions who are not being seen. Not everybody lives in a mansion and looks, blonde. Sorry, that's not the reality.
And because I feel like if there's something we definitely all need more of is empathy as a universe. And it's hard to be empathetic to something you know nothing about. So learning about other people's points of view and other people's struggles and other people's joy makes it so much easier for all of us to be able to feel connected, and
it challenges our assumptions too.
Definitely. And New York also is the perfect place for that, because we had the opportunity to meet so many, right, from different parts of the world and
absolutely
get connected. I learn here every day, even on Zoom now, because, even if we do everything on Zoom now, but we're always meeting different people with different situations. And that's how we become better humans, I call it, right? Which make us better artists, right? It's a reflection. Our art is a reflection of our humanity. So now let's talk about your monologue marathon project, right? Because I found that very special. I love myself performing monologues. So please you tell us all about it.
Well, that's what started when the world closed down about a year ago now. We were at home and we had to cancel a couple of in-person events that we had coming up, and we were trying to figure out what we could do to still, we were struggling to stay creative, honestly, at the beginning of quarantine. It was really hard. It was such a shock for all of us. It still is such a shock, everything that's happened in the last year. And I think it started from us being like, how can we help people stay creative from home? What can we do that still feels engaging and like it builds a community and like we're still working all together, but doing it in a way in which we can't all be together in the same room? So I think that was kind of the beginning.
Yeah. And what it consists of is writers submit their monologues to us, and then we connect the monologue with an actor, and then the actor films themselves doing the monologue, but not as a self-tape, so not with a blank background, but in a place in their house or wherever.
Kind of like setting the scene a little bit more.
Making it seem like it's more like a little piece of a little film. And then we post those, and the writers and the actors get to keep the video.
And we share them as a marathon. So what we usually do is it's usually on a weekend. It might be a Saturday or a Sunday. And for like 12 hours, there's one monologue coming out each hour. And it's really fun. And it creates a little bit of the sense of community that we were getting from the garden parties. And actors get to keep a little video of like an original monologue that they might be one of the first few, or maybe even the first person to perform. And it's been really fun. Writers have told us that having something that they need to write for has helped them, that they found it really fun also to kind of be surprised by who was cast and how kind of they performed them or directed themselves.
Interpreted,
for the piece. So it's been really good. We were able to even do one of our monologues. We each did one. It's been really fun. It's been really great.
Excellent. And if people are interested in participating for the future, they can just write to you, right? On your website? Or,
yes, we work a lot through Instagram too. Our Instagram at the Frente Productions. And on our website too. We have an email there.
Yes, there is a contact sheet on our website. And also we're about to open a new search for submissions for monologues. So if anyone's interested, yes, definitely stay tuned, and you should see all the info in both our website and the Instagram.
And if you want to work as an actor also, you can just send your headshot and resume over to that email, and then
we'll get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. So we're going to remind our audience, your website is thefrenteproductions.com, and your Instagram, which is also fabulous, is handle the Frente Productions. So I think they will find you. They will find you.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you take also submissions from writer performers, like people who write their own monologues and who would like to perform their own.
Absolutely. Yeah. We kind of, we cater a lot to what the writer wants to do or is doing with the piece a lot. Like if they already have an actor they're working with and they want to do it with that actor, that also works. So so any of those options work.
Excellent. So now let's talk about your upcoming projects or more recent projects where I'm sure the audience can find you on your YouTube channel, also on the Frente Productions. So you could tell us now of what's next for the Frente.
Yeah, absolutely. Something very cool that we're also doing is the Collab Fest. We usually do a monologue marathon and a Collab Fest in between. The Collab Fest is really fun. We pick 4 writers and we assign 2 actors to each of them. And then we give actors a sort of fun personal questionnaire that we invite them to answer as honestly or dishonestly as they personally choose.
With very funny questions.
Yes, very personal, but very funny questions. And then we give these questions to the writers, and the writers have 1 week to create an original piece for these 2 actors. So it's really cool because it's a very different form of collaboration that I feel writers don't always get to experience with actors. But it's also very fun for actors to read a piece that was kind of inspired by themselves. So that's a very cool event that we're also doing. We'll probably announce a date for one like that too as soon. But what we recently did is we had a live reading of a one-act play called How Are You by Sarah Pastines Bergman. It was really great. It had very much of a garden party energy because it's still her first like little stage or little live reading, and she also did it as a way to kind of work with it with the actors, and she had a few rehearsals, and that was very cool. And then we had a little questionnaire for the audience, so she was able to get a little feedback on a couple of things that she had questions on, so that when she moves on to her next draft, she kind of can use all this little information. And
yeah, she wrote the play for Zoom too, which is very interesting. And we're doing it on, we did it on YouTube Live.
And you can definitely still find it on YouTube Live.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely look up the Frente Productions on YouTube, or if you go to our website or our Instagram, there'll be a link. But if you're still interested in watching, it's great. It's all women cast. It's a really great play, and if you like seeing early workshops of things, if you're into like seeing how stories change and grow and get built, it's really great.
Well, wonderful. You're gonna keep us busy, like you're keeping, you know.
Absolutely, keeping busy helps stay creative, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean creatively. I don't like the word busy. Creatively active. Let's call it like that. Creatively active. Creatively active. Well, you are a joy to talk to. You are an example of how to find strength even in the middle of a pandemic, because it has not been easy thing for anybody. So how do you continue to create, to feel active, to find that strength? If you could share some of your, shareable, of course, secrets of how do you find that creative strength because I think that's going to help a lot of other people listening to us. How do you find your creative juices when the world is going a little,
Unity, a lot of it, and having other people who like hold you accountable and who count on you for things, and I feel like that helps me a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard. But I think definitely community. We do this thing with Edie called Power Hour, where we just get together for 1 hour on Zoom, and we don't really talk to each other, but we both write for an hour, or do any work that we need to do for an hour. So we just know that for that hour, we will be working on that.
And even if that hour is spent looking at the page, at least you did the work of looking at the page. So probably the next hour that you sit down, something will come out. But yeah. I definitely feel like, particularly at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything was just confusion and every day seemed to be so long and so short at the same time, definitely having an hour a day in which we met and we were on with each other,
or even an hour a week.
Yeah, just any compromise that you can make, and that you can like, this is what I'm always gonna do at this time, at this day. I feel like that helps a lot.
Another thing we actually talked about yesterday is that we live in a society that expects us to produce constantly. Otherwise, we're not worthy, right? We're not valuable if we're not producing. And that's not true with art. We're not always able to produce good art. We have to do bad things sometimes. We have to not be able to do anything to get a block. And sometimes that's okay. It's okay if it happens. Sometimes going for a walk is also writing, or reading a book is also writing, or
yeah, definitely doing something else that tickles your creative brain, but isn't really the place where you're putting all your focus and your energy and your pressure helps a lot. Like painting. Yeah. I'm terrible at it, and that makes it super fun because there's no pressure. Because I'm bad. It's never going to be good, but it relaxes a part of my brain, and it like makes my creativity play a little bit without so much pressure of like, this is my medium, this is where I need to be producing, kind of thing. But also just like doing it with friends. Yeah. just even when you're struggling, be like, we're going to meet once a week and we're going to read a play. And even if that's what you do, or we're going to watch a movie, or we're going to like any little thing that you can do that makes you feel connected and that makes you remember, because it's so hard for us writers and actors and directors right now. I feel that things feel like they're a little stopped, and who knows when they will actually pick up. And it's a lot of
we just went through some major collective trauma.
Yes. So So I think anything that you can do that makes you feel connected to other people always makes things easier.
Excellent. The power of connection, and then the power of giving ourselves routines, like no matter what, this hour I'm working. And if you can get a partner, like an accountability partner or a friend, or excellent. Like sometimes I take this class at this time every week, and at least the hour I'm in the class, I'm working, right? Then the rest of the day, okay. But at least that 1 hour we're doing something. So excellent. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you for sharing how you inspire each other and how you inspire the world. And oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And now, you know, we're coming to the end. We could talk for hours because we have a lot of ideas in common, and we will, you know. But just to coming to the conclusion, if you could give us a message for other women artists, and then your message for humanity. So 2 messages, women artists and humanity.
To women artists, I'm just going to say, keep going. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep going, keep doing it, do it again, do it different, do it better, keep doing it.
Just because one person says no doesn't mean everyone will say no.
Just keep doing it. Also, you don't need a response from anyone. Just keep doing it. That's, I think, for me.
I think that's perfect. Like when they say no, oh, thank you for your time. Let's go. You know, I think that's the key. If you can connect to the keep on going, the door will open. Just have to keep at it with the intention, right? Of keep your path. Okay, anything else for other women artists? Keep on going. And
support other women. Work with other women. Pull other women up with you. Men have been doing it for ages. Help your friends. If you have friends that work in the place you work, don't be afraid to work with your friends, because, or don't be afraid to anything that comes with being a woman. Don't be afraid of being professional and putting flowers on your designs. It's okay. Just be yourself.
Wonderful. The power of authenticity, connection, collaboration, and being brave, right? Like we just go. Courage and braveness, right? Ya me acabo de inventar esa palabra. La valentía. Being brave.
I love it.
Wonderful. So any departing words of wisdom for humanity, of encouragement, would you like to say something to the world?
We have these rules that we go by that were written by a director called Anne Bogart, and she's incredible. She teaches at Columbia, but she's also worked all over the world. And these are four rules. The first one is show up, be there.
Let's have the battle. Just show up.
Yep.
Second one is listen.
The third one is tell the truth,
which is so hard, but so many rewards are on the other side of telling the truth.
Yep. And the fourth one is don't get too attached to the results. And we always remind ourselves of those. We're like, remember what Anne Bogart said. And we think it's great advice, and it applies to anything. So yeah, for sure.
All right. So we remind the audience. So Anne Bogart, we definitely admire her and respect her highly. So if she's watching us, thank you for everything you brought to the world.
Yes.
So show up, listen, tell the truth, and don't feel attached to the result, right? I guess that's like the enjoy the journey. And Evie, I know you wanted to say something before I cut you off, right?
No. That was it. We live by those in art and in life, and they're great. And just, yeah, try and listen and put yourself in other people's shoes. That's all, that's all it is.
Congratulations, and you look very happy, and that's what matters at the end, that you are doing what you love and living your life with joy. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and I am so happy we got to know you better and to know more about the amazing work of women, supporting women, and putting our art out there for the world to enjoy. The Frente Productions. People can find you.
Thank you for having us. It was great. It was great to get to know you a little better, and hopefully we'll work together soon.
Of course. You know, and I know a lot of other women are gonna be reaching out to you because we need more platforms like this. Authenticity, you know, you know, like the real deal, like I call it, you know. So again, thank you so much again, Camila and Evie from the Frente Productions. Everybody, please find them on Instagram, the Frente Productions, their website, thefrenteproductions.com. From the HOLA Diversity Initiative in the month of We Are Women. We're honored and so happy that you share this time with us. I will tell our viewers that if you would like to become a volunteer with HOLA, you can find us at HOLA Official, and we always welcome volunteers who would like to help in different departments, and we are all welcome. You are all welcome. So thank you so much. You happy Women's Hair Story Month.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for keeping up the great work. All the best of the best, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ima.